This don't make no sense, man. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense. And once again, we're right back in Macon, Georgia, talking about the Macon Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office and Anita Howard. Just this week, I asked y'all, what's really going on in Macon again? Well, apparently, I wasn't finished. Because now we're talking about a double murder case from 2021. Two people were killed. Quinterious Hillman and Jerod Lester. Two men, Trequan Fox and Jaives Fountain, were indicted in connection with their deaths. And according to prosecutors, one of the strongest pieces of evidence in this case was a recorded telephone conversation in which Fountain allegedly admitted to a friend that he had shot two people. But there was a problem. The judge suppressed the recording. The court determined that the private conversation had been recorded without Fountain's knowledge, and prosecutors couldn't use it at trial. Okay, that's the court rulings. I'm not blaming Anita Howard for a judge suppressing the evidence. If the judge says you can't use it, you can't use it. But here's where this stops making sense to me. This murder happened in 2021. Fountain finally goes to trial in March of 2026. Almost 5 years later, the recorder can't come in. Fountain goes before a jury without that evidence, and he's acquitted on everything. Now, fast forward a few months. The other defendant, Trequan Fox, is still sitting there facing charges in the same double homicide. And now Anita Howard office has dismissed all charges against him. Dismissed. Why? Because without that recording, prosecutors say they no longer have enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Fox participated in these killings. Hold the hell up now. We're talking about a double murder. 5 years, two defendants. And after 5 years, you're telling me that when one recording gets suppressed, the prosecution essentially falls apart? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. What else did you have? What physical evidence you have? Right? What forensic evidence you have? Did you have ballistic surveillance, location data? What witnesses? What connected Trequan Fox to these murders strongly enough to indict him in the first place? I'm not saying those things necessarily existed. I'm asking what evidence did, because somebody investigated the case. Somebody arrested these men, right? Prosecutors presented the case to the grand jury, indictments were returned, and these murder charges sat in the judicial system for years. So at what point did somebody realize if we lose this recording, we don't have a murder case? And thus families have been waiting since 2021. One defendant has been acquitted. The other defendant now had every charge dismissed. So who's being held responsible for the deaths of Quinterious Hillman and Jerod Lester? Because that's where my mind goes. Those are the two dead people at the beginning of this story. If Fountain was acquitted, Fox can no longer be prosecuted on the evidence that the state currently has. Then legally, that's what this case stands. From the family's perspective, what happened to their justice? And from the public's perspective, what happened to this investigation? Because law enforcement can arrest everybody in Macon. They can execute warrants. They can put people in jail. They can hold press conferences. They can announce murder charges. But eventually, those cases have to walk into a courtroom. And somebody has to be prepared to prove them. And that's the district attorney's job. So once again, Anita Howard, I'm looking at your office, not because you suppressed the evidence, you didn't, but because you're an elected district attorney responsible for prosecution. And when a double murder case that's been sitting in your system since 2021 ends with one defendant acquitted and the other defendant charges completely dismissed, the public deserves more than another case number disappearing from the docket. Two men are dead, 5 years have passed, and today nobody stand convicted of killing either one of them. This doesn't make no damn sense, y'all. And apparently, once again, we need to ask, what the hell is going on in Macon, Georgia? This is Lamar King Sr., investigative analyst, new media, where the truth will never be silenced. Be great today. Peace.